didn't die. I asked you to kill Superman, and you're telling me you couldn't even do that one simple thing.
All right, Webster, the game's over.
But only the man who pulled the switch on Superman.
Oh, see, I'm not with them, Superman.
Could have fooled me, mister.
Can pull the plug on Super Machine.
You're going to go down in history as the man who killed Superman.
No. Thank you, brother.
Superman 3.
Watch the trees.
This time is going to be the best time of all.
YouTubers, Hankster here, and welcome to video 3 of our multi-movie review marathon based on the Superman movies. And of course today we're going to be focusing on Superman 3, featuring Christopher Reeve, Margot Kidder, Jackie Cooper, Richard Pryor, and Annette O'Toole. Now, of course, this is the third edition, and of course the third in the series, and of course basically has no major connections to the original two Superman movies, past the most of the actors and actresses from the movies. Of course, Gene Hackman didn't return to play Lex Luthor. They, of course, basically had pretty much a generic villain thrown in there. And I'm not talking about Richard Pryor's character either. Many people, of course, say that this is the worst of the Superman movies, and and that's pretty much not true. If that was the case, they wouldn't have done a Superman 4. The movie did pretty well, pretty good. Maybe not, obviously not as good as the first two movies, but it did pretty good. And on its own, it did, I think it did pretty good. I mean, in the sense of, making it more funny with Richard Pryor in it. And of course, the little twist of having Superman become bad, that was another good one. Involving that, the one scene where evil Superman battles good Clark Kent. Of course, everybody kind of associates the evil Superman with Bizarro. I can't really agree with that, being that there were issues where, even though Superman was affected by, botched artificial kryptonite, basically that was basically the equivalent of red kryptonite. How red kryptonite alters, used to alter Superman's physical appearance or mental capabilities after being exposed to it. And so, it's just different each time. So, just depending on how the kryptonite would have affected the second time he would have been exposed to it, that kind of thing. But all in all, this is a pretty good movie, not just for Superman fans, but for Richard Pryor fans as well. This is one of the many times that Richard Pryor shows that he doesn't have to be dirty and vulgar just to get laughs. Him performing in this movie in a more of a PG level for its time. It's not too bad. I mean, he pretty much stole the show, playing, of course, Gus Gorman, who, of course, an unemployed guy who realizes he has a knack for computers enough so that he tries to skim off some profits into his paycheck, but winds up getting himself into some risky business with the company's owner, who of course wants to corner the market in things like coffee and oil and stuff. Basically, the real villain in the movie, of course, obviously is the stereotypical evil CEO guy, who, it's pretty much another prototype for the Lex Luthor from the post-crisis era. The evil businessman who wants to rule the world through, business connections and stuff, as opposed to conquering the world with weapons and science and technology and stuff. Obviously, it's a topical movie because at this time, computers are now at that level where people can have them at home, and businesses, more people at businesses could have them. The computers were more getting into people's lives, and it was an interesting subject. It would have been more interesting if you could have infused Brainiac into the story, rather than just creating a homegrown, generic villain for Superman to deal with. It seems like most major Superman productions, if it's not Lex Luthor or Zod, most of the time you're not really going to see much of it. They come out with the fifth movie only a few years ago, and who they come up as the major villain again? Lex Luthor. There are so many other villains in the Superman universe, and they just keep relying on Lex Luthor and General Zod, and they're going to do it. Probably looks like they're going to do it again in Man of Steel, with bringing back Zod again. I don't know. But what they did with it was pretty good. This is the kind of the closest you could get to having Brainiac, having a supercomputer, pretty much almost trying to rule the world after it was created and all. It's the closest you can got to that. Also closest with the Red Kryptonite. I wish they could have did more to, in those areas than what they did. But the movie is pretty good. As I keep saying. And of course, there was other goofy little side stories. Margot Kidder wasn't totally in the movie. Her character, Lois Lane, goes off to having a vacation and winds up getting involved with terrorists and all, getting kidnapped by terrorists and everything. And even the computer becomes a sort of a gag when it comes to being introduced into the Daily Planet and all that. So now, of course, another major thing here in the movie, of course, is the appearance of Annette O'Toole, who, of course, plays Lana Lang in this storyline. Of course, the old girlfriend of Clark Kent, who, of course, ironically enough, Annette O'Toole would return to play Clark's mother in the Smallville television series. And she's, of course, I guess the most majorly involved Superman movie veteran to get herself involved with another Superman project. There was numerous other Superman movie veterans, Helen Slater and Terrence Stamp and even Christopher Reeve made a guest appearance and all. But Annette O'Toole was the biggest to make a guest, to be seen in Smallville. But in this one, she, of course, takes on Lana Lang. She, of course, now is a single mother, and we kind of see a little bit more into Clark's life, even though we don't have, like flashbacks and all that, his early life. Only time we saw Lana Lang, of course, was in the original Superman movie in that brief scene where she was a cheerleader and kind of feeling sorry for Clark for being picked on by the football players and all. But they kind of read that. I guess obviously this would be a connection to the first Superman movie with Lana Lang returning in this one. So it was pretty interesting. Too bad she didn't come back for Superman 4. But so that was a pretty good side story to kind of get draw people into the Superman universe even more. To just not just focus on the Superman, but also focus a little bit on Clark and all. So But hope you enjoyed this review, and stay tuned. We're going to be kind of diverting ourselves from Superman into his Kryptonian cousin, Kara, otherwise known as Supergirl, in the 1984 release starring Helen Slater. And stay tuned here for more reviews and whatnot here on the Multiverse. See ya.